Hi guys, this is a video of iOS 7 Beta 1 running on the iPhone 5. Don't know if you can make that out, it's a bit dark in here. As you can see, the lock screen has changed, the font for the clock has changed, the signal bar has been replaced with the circles and dots, and you might just be able to make out, if the screen doesn't dim, the faint arrow at the top and the bottom. Now, the one at the top, if you toggle it or pull it down, you'll get the notification screen or notification center. That's now available from the lock screen. Previously you couldn't do that unless you were jailbroken. Here you can see there's a brief overview of the weather in this area. Some stocks, you can turn these on and off. And what's happening tomorrow and the calendar. Nothing happening for me. Go to all, you can see there are some updates. Apps have been updating in the background. Missed. Presumably your missed calls and notifications would turn up there. Swipe up to get rid of that. Now if we swipe up from the bottom, this is new. If you're an Android user, or if you had SB settings or some other widget beforehand when you were jailbroken, this will look familiar to you. This is a list of toggles and widgets and shortcuts. At the moment there's no way of customizing these, but we've got airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. Oh, hello. It's gone to sleep there. Do not disturb and rotation lock or orientation lock. We've got the brightness, we've got music player, and we've now got a torch. So I just turn that round, turn that on and off. Got a shortcut to the clock, alarms, stopwatch, timer app. Get back out of there. Got the calculator and a shortcut to the camera. Another thing you may have noticed now that we're on the home screen is the translucency. The background and the apps show through this control center pane. The same applies for notification center also. And what you may have also noticed is we've inadvertently unlocked the phone using control center. Control center can be turned off on the lock screen, so if you do unlock the device by accident, then you can turn that off and you shouldn't have a problem. But we're going to unlock the phone now. Can you see that? The wallpaper shifts as you tilt the phone. Not so much sideways, more up and down. There you go, it's more prominent now. There are animated backgrounds also. I believe Apple call these dynamic backgrounds. Again, it's something that iOS users have been maybe waiting for or haven't known about, but Android users are well used to. So let's choose the wallpaper for our desktop. You can see we've got dynamic wallpapers, and this is the one we had on the lock screen. So if you can see that now, it's animating. Another thing in iOS 7 is that you can no longer swipe left to get to Spotlight. To get to it, swipe down in the middle of the screen and you'll bring Spotlight up, and you can search for your apps from here. Now the camera will launch from there. Again, with the simpler look of iOS 7, we've lost the gradient bar at the bottom. We've got a simple shutter button. Pictures can still be taken with the volume keys up and down. If you swipe left and right, you can get to video, photo mode. You can take square pictures if you're a fan of Instagram. And the panorama mode. In the regular photo modes we've got HDR. Just tap it there, there's a faint icon there. Tap that to enable a HDR photo to be taken. Filters, that's what this icon down here is, if it ever wants to launch. Got 9 filters here, take your pick. Might render some apps obsolete. And there's a live preview there. The reminders app, just go into that. Again, very simple, very clean. We've got 4 different lists here, or cards. Just tap into one to show what's on there. You can see my shopping list, got to go and get an orangutan later. And if we go to edit, we can customize the color of the heading for each section and reorder things. Grab that, there we go, dump it down. Also, because these are cards, they can be moved around You'll see this feature again in a moment when we go into Safari. Now, in the Photos app, very simple look. We've got albums and photos at the bottom. Now, albums would be your own photo albums, so you could create an album and dump a load of photos in related to a certain event. If we go to Photos though, this is the iPhone sorting your pictures for you. So you'll have 2013, location, date, time, and so on. This may be one reason to turn geotagging back on if you haven't already done so, if you turn it off for privacy reasons or something, but it may help you view your pictures in a more organised manner. Also in Photos, if we were to hover over the pictures, you can see a little preview thumbnail. The weather app, it's cloudy and 17 degrees in Cupertino, but if you look, you may notice the clouds moving. HTC and Android users probably recognise this as well. Can have a look at the various locations and the weather for the day ahead. Now what we can do is pinch and we can see all of our locations, and again each of the bars has an animated weather view. Let's go ahead and add somewhere. Let's try New York. And there we go. 25 degrees. Next up is Safari. Bar along the top is no longer blue and doesn't have that gradient anymore. It's only a single bar as well, so if you did want to search using your preferred search engine, you'd type your entry in that one box and off you go. Another thing is that you can also search on the page using that same bar. Notice the translucency at the top. Let's say the word tougher. Right, let's search for that on here. Tougher. On this page, 2 matches. And there it goes, highlights the word tougher. If we wanted to do a search for, say, I don't know, goats, on this page, no results for goats, but Google search suggestions bring up goats. Let's do a search for that, and there we go. And that's all from that one bar, also in other browsers known as the Omni bar. If we bring up the share button at the bottom, this is AirDrop. In iOS 7 now, the AirDrop feature from Macs is now carried over, and if you have anyone else with AirDrop enabled nearby, you can then share pages, pictures and so on over AirDrop, which works over Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Presumably other items, other apps would show up here if they were compatible with the share page. This is the reading list. That will show you items that have been saved for later. Shared links. These will be links from your social networks. Okay, let's go down to the tab page, tab view, and we can see our pages. They look like cards. If I tilt the phone, you may see the goat page at the bottom tilting, swaying. If you don't want a tab, swipe left, get rid of it. If you want, you can reorder tabs. Hold your finger down, drag them up. Another thing you notice down here is the private button. We'll tap on that. Now, we'll keep all pages, so saves opening the tabs again. But then you'll notice the white bar that we had at the top and bottom. They've both now gone grey to show that you're in private browsing mode. Turn private browsing mode off. We'll keep them all open. The grey bars on the headers for each of these tabs have now gone to a very light shade of grey. Jump back out, and we're back into the light grey bars again. Also, one other thing in Safari is that if we bring up the keyboard, you'll notice there's no .com button anymore. Well, in the UK, or depending on the region, that button presumably will change to that country's native domain extension. So I suppose in the US, you'd have the .com as the default button. That can't be changed to another default at the moment. You can't set .com as your default domain or .net as your default domain extension, but maybe that'll come in the future. If you have something you'd like to see or like me to go over again in more detail, don't hesitate to leave a message in the comments below or send me a message on Twitter at Chief McBeef. And thanks for watching.